So your bed isn't comfort. It's actually just, if you think about it, a padded charging station. It's a place where your body shuts down just long enough to survive another day of pretending you're fine. And then you have some people where it doesn't recharge their soul. It just recharges their shell. The battery just fills up, but the purpose just stays empty. And maybe that's the saddest part. You're not even tired from living, you're tired from existing.
You're right. I, I mean, I personally, I don't think that existence and life are mutually the same. I think it depends. You can be tired of existing yet scared to die. You don't want to die, but you're so tired of your existence. It can depend on your circumstances, the decisions you've made, things that you're having to deal with in life. You cannot want to be in this life anymore, and you wish you're living a different life. And that's part of what I think that makes existence and life different. But you know, beds being charging stations, I have to agree. I think that there's three fundamentals, right, of human life specifically. I don't know if this transcends over to animals. Maybe they do. I don't know. But just because humans have the amount of sentience that we have and intelligence, there's the body, the mind, and the soul. And a bed can only refresh the body. You learn to refresh the mind and the soul. Well, what do you do when you need to refresh the soul? Could be a plethora of things you could do. But I think that with the soul, what actually refreshes it is fulfillment. When you try to fulfill a basic need for your soul. For me, that is embracing my faith, striving to be a good man to my partner and to my family, and trying to lead a life where I feel fulfillment based on the choices I've made because I try to see the bigger picture of what it means to actually live a fulfilled life. I'm not sure, you go on a little bit about your perspectives on it, but that's just to me how I fuel or recharge my soul. And I love sleep as much as the next guy. A lot of people wish that they didn't have to sleep, and a lot of people sleep because they're trying to escape from something. So you have to think to yourself, why do they want to escape? What is it that you're trying to run away from? Why do you not want to sleep? And it's because people feel unfulfilled. They feel unfulfilled. They're not entirely sure what it is that they want, and that's where I think it's important to try and educate ourselves as to what it is we as people truly want, not what our surroundings or urges or addictions make us think we want.
I think it can be a multitude of things. And so everyone needs to find what they can do or what they do at that point to rest your soul. Everyone is different. I'm not going to give examples like go for a walk or go for an exercise or play a game or speak to loved ones. These are just, everyone's different. But it's important that you have to find it if you don't have it. I think it can be a multitude of things. And so everyone needs to find what they can do or what they do at that point to rest your soul. Everyone is different. I'm not going to give examples like go for a walk or go for an exercise or play a game or speak to loved ones. These are just, everyone's different. But it's important that you have to find it if you don't have it. I think it can be a multitude of things. And so everyone needs to find what they can do or what they do at that point to rest your soul. Everyone is different. I'm not going to give examples like go for a walk or go for an exercise or play a game or speak to loved ones. These are just, everyone's different. But it's important that you have to find it if you don't have it. And a lot of people look forward to something. So let's say there's a easy example. The weekend's coming up and you want to get through the day, you want to go sleep as early as possible to fast track to the weekend. Yes, sleep is important, but having that attitude, we've spoken about this before, it is so detrimental to the health. What are you living for? Are you living just to get through Monday to Friday to get to the weekend. Because that is the wrong attitude, man. If you are that type of person, I'm sorry, you have to change it. Because your life is just going to go away in an absolute blink of an eye. And then you'll look back and think, shit. And then people are looking forward to finishing their studies. People are looking forward to the next show that's coming out in a couple of days' time. There's so many things that people just look forward and then want the day to be over. Work could be having a really bad day, so you want the day to be over. There's so many things that make people want to just go to sleep. And then, yeah, it can be the opposite effect as, oh, I've got this heavy exam tomorrow. I just really don't want to go to sleep, because then it just means that it's closer. Well, I guess they'll actually be studying at the time. I think it's rather something that environment they don't want to go to, whether it's a work function, a family function, something where you have to talk in front of public. Those little things, like, oh, I'm dreading tomorrow. You know, there's so many things, but it's just important to know to love your life, enjoy the small things, not just look forward to the end of the week, not look forward to your holiday next year, and then hope that it comes quickly. It's a multitude of things, dude.
We spoke about in our previous broadcast, if you hate Mondays, then you should probably rethink your life choices. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to. Should be somewhere in our playlist. I could provide a link, but to be honest, I wouldn't mind the engagement. So have fun looking for it. However, it is definitely TLDR of that video. It is definitely a skill issue if you hate Mondays, because this applies to everything, you know, like the topic right now. You're trying to speed through the day. You just want the day to end. You're speeding through to payday. You're speeding through to the weekend. You're speeding to those high moments, and you're so hyper focused on those high moments that you don't even notice how much you're throwing away, how much of our lives we're throwing away. You speed through all of the unpleasant, boring, dull moments in life instead of trying to enrich those moments so that you cherish them more. Because every single second is a second we can't get back. This is the kind of conversation I usually have with, like, you know, free to play games. You know, you talk about not having to spend any money on these free to play games, but at the same time, you're spending a currency that you can't, unlike actual money, you can't make more time. So time is something that should be cherished and valued to the utmost degree. It is the most precious resource in the world, because nobody knows how much time they've got. We don't know how much time we've got. And so with that, we need to cherish it every single second and use every single second we can to living a fulfilled life. And like we've mentioned, there are lots of different ways. This topic, most topics we talk about is like this, but I really want to highlight everything that we say. It's advice, sure, based on our own experiences. You could be experiencing something completely different or have completely different thoughts, and that's fine. But whenever we talk about these things, it's not to make you hyper focus on these aspects. It is something to keep in mind when you're going about living your own life, right? That's why I say so many times that we need to educate ourselves on what brings us fulfillment. We need to educate ourselves to tell the difference between what is real and what is false fulfillment. Because there are a lot of false fulfillment in the world. There's a lot of fulfillment or satisfaction that we think is good for us. We think it's what we want, but really it's due to conditioning. You throw a fish in a pond. If you don't condition that pond to be healthy, the fish is going to change based on its surroundings. The fish is going to be unhealthy and die, but the fish won't know any better because they don't have a healthy pond. You're not doing your water changes, you're not controlling ammonia levels, you're not doing proper filtration. The fish is going to acclimate to poor conditions. The same thing happens to the real world. If you sit there and you think that doom scrolling on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok through these shorts gives you fulfillment, that's not real fulfillment. That's false fulfillment, false satisfaction, quick satisfaction. It's there right now and it's gone in the blink of an eye, so you have to keep refilling it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say take our advice, but what Papa and I strive for through these broadcasts is for you to have that, like, aha moment or that light bulb to go on and be like, you know what? They're actually right. Or not that they're right. Now you've realized something that you didn't previously realize. So listening to us brought that out. Yeah, that would just make us super happy. And then watching those reels and short form content, videos, whatever, you just want to get the next thing, and it's so easy to binge. Oh, it goes across a lot of things. That's a completely different topic. But yeah, I fully agree. You're going to keep looking for the next thing.
And, in the end, life is fragile. It's short. Life is really short. You might, even if you live to 100 years old, you might think about it. You might be in your mid 30s or your early 30s or your mid 50s and think that your life flashed by. That's how quick 100 years can go. Life is meant to be cherished. And I set myself up with the goal of when I close my eyes for the last time, I can look back in the blink of an eye. I can look back and say, I'm satisfied with the life I lived. When I close my eyes, I can leave behind a family that knows that I tried my best, I did my best, I loved them. And that's all I could want in the end, because you take nothing with you to the grave. All this money, all this short-term fulfillment, even your achievements, you take nothing with you except that final moment where you can look back and decide whether or not you lived a fulfilled life. And that might be a little dark. It might be something that people don't want to hear, but it's the reality. We don't know what's going to happen after we pass away. I like to believe that we go to the kingdom of heaven if we lived a just life, if we lived a fulfilled life. But you never know. Maybe I get reincarnated as a worm or a mosquito that gets crushed in the middle of the night when I'm buzzing around in the bedroom and someone gets irritated by my existence and decides to throw a book at me. I don't know what's going to happen. So while I'm here, I made it a goal for myself that I was going to eventually, when I close my eyes for the last time, look back and believe that I did my best, that I lived a fulfilled life. And even now, I mean, people might think I'm talking from some kind of gold tower or something, looking down on people. I'm really not. I'm not doing well financially. I'm just about as bottom half of the population as you can get. I'm just scraping by, right? I have rent to pay. I have bills to pay. I have relatives, family that need me, that I have to look out for, that I have to. And so even though I sit there sometimes on a Friday night with no money to go out and do something crazy, I'm still happy because I chose to live, learn, and find the ways to fulfill myself in a healthy way. Because I try to embody the principles of a good man and a good human every single day. And I find fulfillment in that. And that is my main hope, that more people will find happiness and fulfillment in just being a good person and doing the right thing. That is my hope. That's the most idealistic I can possibly be. I love to sleep, but I'm not chasing to get to bed just in the hopes that I can run away from my problems. I don't stay in bed all day. I get up, I do stuff. I try to feed my body, or sorry, refresh my body, my mind, and my soul. And that is my main takeaway from this. Try to make the decisions that's best for you. Take the time to learn to make those best decisions.